Welcome back, Bills fans of the game, fans of football. Blue Mafia, another episode. Your host, Jeremy Mountain here. Traditional football Sunday. Bills taking on the Robert Saleh-led New York Jets, formerly known as Xerxes from 300. Lots to talk about, some new faces in Buffalo. We're going to get into that. And obviously, we got the top 5 quarterback matchups around the NFL with huge implications. I got some surprises for you on the back end there. But let's get right into it. We might as well give Josh and Coach Ken Dorsey their grades for last week right off the bat. Dorsey, I'm going to go with about a B+. And I come to that conclusion from sort of a creative and execution standpoint, preparation standpoint. I thought that the game plan was a great preparation. I thought that Dorsey had them in a place where he knew that he wanted to execute hard and fast in the first half. And I thought that they kept the foot on the throat in an execution standpoint. But as far as creativity goes, I thought that was all we needed to do from an offensive standpoint when it comes to the offensive coordinator. And he put the players in the best position to win the game fairly easily. So Dorsey about a B+. Good, consistent. I thought it was good. I don't believe I remember any quarterback called runs. So as you know, here at Blue Mafia, we want to keep 17 upright and safe and clean. That being said, Allen, on the other side, we're going to go about a C+, because he wasn't exactly terrible. Obviously got us out to a nice big healthy lead, comfy lead. But ultimately, I didn't like the lazy interceptions in the second half when you have Green Bay on the ropes. You have Aaron Rodgers continually running the ball because he clearly didn't want to get any more gut shots. A lot of body shots for Aaron Rodgers last week. And I thought it was really funny when Von Miller was asking Aaron about why they continued to run the ball and then didn't say what Aaron said after. I would love to know what Aaron said after, but in my opinion, it had to be because of the amount of body shots that he was taking. That defense, as we know, scary defense. Allen was good, though, and ultimately we're not complaining here at Blue Mafia, but we got to be honest with our grades, and we're going to go with about a C+. Right mindset, lazy mindset in the second half, though. Moxie certainly had the moxie, big run in the first half that clearly set the tone for the night. Definitely strong there, as always. And mechanics, he wasn't too sloppy. He had it together. He was sharp, but once again got lazy in the second half. So that's why we're going to go C+. Now, have just a quick little story shout out from the Maryville Flyers, who unfortunately fell in the playoffs to a very tough, gritty farm team out of Arcade. Pioneer Panthers gashed the Flyers for 4 quarters, and due to some self-inflicted wounds, the Flyers were unfortunately not able to make it to the Ralph. But one crucial memory that I will never forget was when, after a few unfortunate events, quarterback Will Schiller faced a 4th and 8 down 24-7 after an incredible kick by a Pioneer kicker. It was 4th and 8, and this kid hung in the pocket, for a long time, and he threw one of the most beautiful post routes that I'll ever see. And that's what's beautiful about the game. That's what's beautiful about football is I hope that kid out there remembers that pass above all, because it was one of those moments that it's just really, really all about. The time seemed to freeze. The ball in the air. The kid ran under it. It was just perfect in stride. And that brought them back into the game and turned the entire game around. Unfortunately, they weren't able to finish. But hats off to the toughness of that Pioneer team. And good luck to them in the championship. They'll be taking on a Iroquois Chiefs team that is led by, in part, by a friend of the podcast, Coach Burreaux, and another Coach Burreaux. Lancaster Legends took care of business in Niagara Falls. They'll be going on to take on Bennett at the stadium. So, still got some ties here. Some Blue Mafia family pack members out there still alive. So, good luck to them boys out there. Now, we got to get down to business. Buffalo Bills taking on a tough team in the Jets. Young, fancy, swaggy. Obviously, you've heard about Sauce Gardner. You've probably heard about Kayvon Thibodeau. A couple of young stars. Really unfortunate to hear about Breece Hall. Obviously, last week, ACL. I was getting a little bit concerned about this Jets team behind the train that was and is going to be, again, Breece Hall. But unfortunately for them, he's out for the rest of the year. Now they're relying on another young, talented, high draft pick in Michael Carter, who is no slouch. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and they also picked up backup running back out of Jacksonville, James Robinson. Longtime vet, tough runner. He could probably come in and give you some good minutes. But Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, is potential superstar material. Another Buckeye, just like Chris Olave, young, fast, smooth route runners. One of these new age receivers that just seems to step onto a field and act like they played a million games, because they probably have in this new 7-on-7 Skelly helmet era. But I'm impressed by what Salah has done in New York. I wasn't a huge fan of his sort of act, but he's got a really clear act to follow in Sean McDermott. Bald, tough, defense first, young quarterback. Get the talent, get the swagger, get the identity down pat first, and then build on top. And I think that they're going to be around. And I'm not an extremely high cheerleader, for Zach Wilson in terms of him. I don't know if he's going to be much more than sort of a Tony Romo type player. I think he'll be around for a good amount of time. I don't know if I ever see him in the big one. But he's got some real hotshot ability, and he makes some impressive throws, and he has some interesting escapes for a little guy with a little pouty face who looks like a little beauty pageant model, Cabbage Patch. But it's going to be a challenge to beat this Jets team, but I'm fairly confident because this team is special. And once again, Brandon Beane proves that he's one of the best personnel managers in the history of the NFL in this run, in my opinion. To take a team from where it was and turn it into what it is, hats off to him, hats off to Terry Pagula. I did hear on Pat McAfee podcast, Brandon Beane referring to the Pagulas as always giving him what he needed to do and opening the checkbook. So, hey, thanks to them as well. And why do I say that? Obviously, big signing, Nyheim Hines. Running back, incredible flip. You take Zach Moss, obviously a little bit of an underwhelming guy. Never really picked up where we thought he would in college. Got a little bit bigger, thicker. Hopefully he does some things out there. He might get some good goal line touches and things with Frank Reich, but shout out Frank Reich giving us a incredible athlete in Nyheim Hines. And one thing that I want to point out is he is obviously an incredible athlete, good pass catcher. He's going to help on third down, kick return, punt return. I've heard all those things mentioned, but one thing I want to point out is pass protection. To have that guy in the backfield who's been in a backfield with NFL quarterbacks, several superstar NFL quarterbacks, mind you, in the last couple of years in Indy, Rivers, Wentz, may have played a little bit with Luck, Jacoby Brissett, but he's played with a lot of guys back there in the NFL, and he's protected a lot of guys, and he's going to have to get used to what Allen can do with his legs, but I'm confident that he knows the game and he knows the pass protections. It's going to take a little bit of a learning curve, I'm sure, on some language and some things up front with Buffalo, but for the most part, he's at least been back there. He's played in games, playoff games, and I trust him. I trust him in big moments. Trust him in the biggest moments. So that's obviously extremely exciting to see Hines in a Bills uniform. And on the other side, you get a guy in Dean Marlowe back that just sort of fell off the wagon in terms of the Buffalo wagon, in terms of salary cap and personnel and things. But he's a guy that's been here. He's a guy that's familiar with the program, familiar with the city. I heard his name several times for the Falcons this year, and every time I heard it, I was like, man, I like that guy. Just a nice Buffalo safety, backup, depth guy. It was almost as if we always had a lot of depth until this year, and then both safeties get hurt. But it's a reminder of what you need to do to stay good in this league. You can get good, but it's tough to stay good. So I'm excited about those things. Moving on, it was actually the first time that I finally heard someone mention 16-1, and it was actually our guy Peter Schrager. Like his new podcast, Shoutout. I know people are watching out there, everybody out there watching. Tell Peter Schrager I like his new podcast, and I'm proud of him and Kyle Brandt and Kay Adams for all having their own shows now. Anybody out there, you should get your own show. Just get a camera, get a mic, talk to somebody who's got one, and get out there and help inspire, help influence, help teach. But anyways, Peter Schrager's out here talking about 16-1. And I don't appreciate it because I don't need these guys thinking that already. They've been very, very good about 1 week at a time, one game at a time. They've been very good with all that stuff, and I want to keep it that way. But I find it odd that they're already saying that they're going to go 16-1 because I see a couple of decent challenges left on the schedule, including the Vikings, including this Jets team, including the Dolphins again. Patriots are always going to be tough, no matter what. So, enough of that. Next one. Defense wins championships. Just going to remind everybody out there again, Allen, Hines, Diggs, Gabe, possible Odell Beckham, that's all good. That's all gravy. But this defense can win us a championship. And if this team can understand that this defense can be the DNA to winning the game, I'm all for that. Next one. Executing safely. Part of the reason why I need this team to rely on this defense's DNA is you can see how quickly one of these superstars like Jamar Chase or like having Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins versus a team without him last year, personnel superstars are still an incredible difference maker from a passion standpoint, from an emotional leader standpoint. We need 17 out there. We need Von Miller out there. We need these superstars out there. So all the guys in the depth and the rest of the team are going to need to execute the next few weeks safely so that everybody's there at the end. And that should be a huge goal. In my last one on the Bills, I'll give you my pregame dump prediction, book it prediction on Sunday morning. But my last one that I just want to say is Devin Singletary is underrated. And I love having Hines on this team because I think it gives us a better chance to win a Super Bowl. But I just want to point out that here at Blue Mafia, we love number 26. And he is one of the most underrated players in the entire NFL. And I don't even talk about him enough here on the podcast because to me, he just does his job and he gets out there and he is perfect for Josh Allen and he's perfect for this offense. And he runs hard and he slithers through the crack and he gets big plays and he shows up in big games. So for that reason, I just wanted to close out on that. So we'll be right back on the other side with the top 5 quarterback matchups around the league. Thanks for listening.
Because of the implication. I know, because of the implication.
Why aren't you understanding this?
I don't...
All right. We're on the other side in the implications, and we're on the other side of the 2020 football season. And it is cold weather season, and it is tough football season. And that goes for quarterback play. Quarterbacks that can play in the cold win Super Bowls because you're going to have to at least go through one of them. You're going to have to go through one shit, mud, cold, wind, freeze ball. 1 or 2 a year, wind, you're going to have one. So who's going to finish? Who's going to survive? Who's going to lead their team to the Yoffs? We're 14-11 on the picks since we started picking the implications. Not that we ever did before. We didn't in the beginning of the year, but on the year we're 14-11. So put in a parlay, put in a single one. If you like my case, let me know. Let me know if it helps you. But 14-11 is not too bad. I don't know how it all works, but I think that's pretty good. We'll see how we can improve. We'll pick them at the end. First one, the 3-4-1 Colts and Sam Ehlinger taking on Mac Jones sitting at 4-4. Patriots faced a lot of scrutiny in the beginning of the year. Mac Jones, a lot of scrutiny. The fans cheering for Bailey Zappi to play. And they got it. And he didn't exactly show up. He didn't exactly show out. And the Patriots lost. Mac got his job back. And they seem to be all right now. The bottom line is the Patriots are still going to be the Patriots. And I don't care who's suiting up for them. When Bill Belichick is in the building, they're going to be tough to beat. And this game is interesting because both teams are floating around 500, but both teams have a shot. Dolphins are tough in the AFC East, but if you have Belichick, you can probably limp in, and they've got 2 late ones against the Bills. That could be crucial. And who knows if the Bills are sitting, resting. That's a whole discussion we're going to have later in the year, I'm sure. But can Sam Ehlinger turn his team around? They just lost Nyheim Hines. Jonathan Taylor's been banged up, but I love a good story, and hey, I love seeing the Patriots lose. So we'll be watching that one. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers heading to a familiar place, Ford Field. In Detroit, the unfortunate 1-6 Lions. You still got to kind of root for them, though. Even though they're trash, they've got that fight in them. They like the Texans, remind me of the drought Buffalo Bills, who unfortunately would always end up losing gritty, tough games that they weren't supposed to win, but they somehow were in. What are the 3-5 Green Bay Packers going to do in a divisional matchup? Can they turn it around and gain any steam on the Minnesota Vikings and make a push to win that division in the NFC? Or are they going to take another lump? And is Aaron Rodgers going to take another 10 years off of his youthful appearance? They got a little bit of a run game going in Buffalo. Can he find that old man spirit and turn it around and lead again? And Goff, go get this one, baby. This is the type of win, putting that nail in Aaron Rodgers' coffin. It's the type of win that can Get you paid for life, baby. Even though Goff is already paid for life. Third one. Heiney. Heiney, baby. Stole the hearts of America once again. Schrager, a couple other guys this week talking about how much they love Heiney. I was talking about it last week. I told you. I could watch him play for 9 hours straight, and I think he could play football for 9 hours straight. But the Washington football team, Comanches, Commanders, Redskins, whatever they are 4-4. Leave Wentz in the tree stand. Give me more Heiney. Look at what he did with Terry. Scary Terry. They tore it up. And they're taking on the Kirk Cousins Minnesota Vikings, led by the new coach who left the Rams. And the Rams are bad now. And on this list, you won't see Rams Bucks. Not this week. We got Kirk Cousins taking on Taylor Heineke. It's going to be a battle. Who throws the last pick? Who throws the last touchy? I'm looking forward to seeing that one, though, because that one's got playoff implications. Number 4. PJ Walker, the XFL. 2 XFL guys in this list. Heiney and PJ Walker. They're 2-6. It's been a shit show. One quick reminder, Matt Rule is going to get paid like $280,000 for like the next 5 years or 4 years or something like that a month. We're going to have a gripe with coaching contracts soon on this podcast, but not today. Joe Burrow. Without Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow is just another cocky white kid. And I'm not about it. On the other side, though, PJ Walker, total humble guy, makes it this far, waits his turn once, twice, 3 times, 50 times. And now he's taken over for Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. I'm rooting for that Panthers team. And they're 2-6, but they've still got a shot. And I hope that they take out the Bungles, because that would make the Bungles 4-5. And then lastly, we got Geno again, baby. Geno and Kyler again. 2 of the most exciting stories with 2 completely different endings as of right now. Who knows how the stories of Kyler Murray and Geno Smith are going to fully end? We have yet to see that yet. But as of right now, 2 very surprising stories. Everybody was looking way up at the little guy, Kyler, and he's looking way down. And Call of Duty came out, so who knows where that's going. But they have picked it up a little bit with D-Hop coming back, who I still think is the best in the league at receiver. But hey, how do you not love this Seahawks team? Pure. Who would have thought that Russell Wilson was impure? But Geno, Kenneth Walker, possible comeback, possible rookie of the year, possible coach of the year in Pete Carroll. Pure football, baby. So let's pick them real quick and let's get out of here. We got a lot of football on today. You got a lot of stuff to do. So let's get this. I think I got to go Patriots over the Colts. Belichick versus young quarterbacks. Never good. I think I got to go Air Rodge and LaFleur. Just because the Lions never seem to finish. But you know I'm rooting for the Lions. Heiney versus Kirk. It's in Washington. I think that fan base may be rallying around this kid. And I think he's the savior. And I don't know why they keep ignoring it. Just for fun, we're going Heiney. PJ Walker, great story. But I think that the Bengals really, really need this one. 5-4 sounds so much better than 4-5. So we're going to go Bengals. And then we got to go Seahawks. We're going to ride them, baby. So that is Mac Jones, Air Rodge, Heineke, Joey Bags Burrow, and Geno Smith. That's your top 5 winners. We'll see you, baby. Have a good week. Let me know what you think. Remember to like and subscribe. Go Bills.
Because of the implication. I know, because of the implication.
Why aren't you understanding this?